Excuse me. Well, hello there, everyone. Ghost Dragon here, and today I'm going to go over misconceptions that I've noticed about the Ask Drunk Chara series that Starbucks has been doing. Now, I don't care if they've already been resolved, I'm doing it anyway. Now, before I get into this video, I just want to say it's okay to make mistakes. Everyone does them. But if you keep making the same misconceptions over and over again, even though those same misconceptions have proven to be wrong, it starts to get very aggravating. So, while this may not do much to change that, I'm going to prove all of those misconceptions wrong. And here we go! Starting off, I noticed that people are confused over who the artist behind Ask Drunk Chara is. The artist is Hawker Roar, as our Hawker Roar, Starbot, Vade, and many others have stated. Numerous times, I might add. And, as you can tell by Ultima Almighty's interviews, the specific interviews that he did with Starbot, Doves, and Hawker, that Star and Hawk are two different people. If you don't believe me, or them, which I have no idea why, I have proof. In Hawker's Drunk Chara Part 5, no fake 1 link mega with crack and DLC, no fake full HD.ISO video, that was a mouthful, Hawker in the description said, I thank Starbot Dubs for her contribution with her Frisk and Chara art. So that means Star drew ADC, right? Wrong. When we watch the video, the first person we see is Azriel, but where are Frisk and Chara? Later in the video, there is a crude stick figure drawing of Frisk and Chara. This is what Hawker was talking about. But before any of you point out that there is another drawing of Chara and Frisk, notice that it and Azriel are the exact same art style. And once again, Azriel is nowhere to be found in the description. So there, Hawker and Starbot Dub are not the same person, and Starbot isn't the artist behind Ask Drunk Chara. Besides, you should listen to Star when she says she's not an artist, as the stick figure was made during one of her live streams to prove that she isn't Hawker. Next on the list is Frisk's and Chara's gender. A lot of people seem to complain when either human is given a gender, as, in the game, they are canonically gender neutral. Well, if you ask me, and I bet if you ask Toby Fox as well, the whole idea behind them being gender neutral is that the players, us, get to decide what gender they are. And Hawker chose for them to be biologically male. And considering that Hawker is the one who decides what's canon Ask Drunk Chara, there's no changing that. So just accept the fact that Chara and Frisk can use male pronouns and not female pronouns. I mean, we don't want Chara to take his pants off again now, do we? Oh, and for those of you who complain about them being female, if you mention anything about being underdeveloped in Ask Drunk Chara, they're 23. So your argument there is not valid. And for those of you who complain about gender neutral again, if you think about it, Star gives Chara and Frisk feminine voices. Despite that, they're biologically male. With male bodies and female voices, wouldn't that cancel each other out and go back to gender neutral? I mean, it makes sense to me. Oh, and on the topic about Chara and Frisk both being male, I've noticed people complaining about gay. Who cares? Yes, it's gay, but I don't see why that's a problem. Personally, I think gay relationships are a little odd, but hey, if it's love, who am I to get in the way of it? It's none of my business, and it shouldn't be any of your business on who loves who. So please, just leave Frisk and Chara alone and let them be happy together. Please. This next thing isn't a misconception, but it's aggravating nonetheless. People keep asking, when is the next video/update coming out? And they keep complaining this video is too short. Over and over and over again and again and again. And again, that needs to stop. You can't expect them, or any content creator for that matter, to upload videos just like that. Every content creator has a life outside of their content, whether it's drawing, dubs, let's plays, reaction, or other things. Also, Starbot, Vade, and Hawker do more than just Ask Drunk Chara. And there's more out there than just Ask Drunk Chara and comic dubs. Plus, drawing, art, and editing videos at the quality Hawker and Starbot deliver to us takes a lot of time. We're lucky that Hawker even started to share her talents with us in the first place, and the same thing with the level of editing Star and Vade do for their videos. If you've watched Ultima Almighty's interviews with them, you'd hear Star say the process of voice acting and editing videos takes a long time. Hawker said a similar thing about her drawings. Art of the quality Hawker delivers to us takes a lot of time and patience to do. As a guy whose drawing skills are worse than stars, I have a lot of respect and admiration for people who have the talent, skill, and patience to draw such detailed pieces of art. Many videos take a lot of time and effort to do. I mean, just look at the one you're watching right now. I could have easily recorded gameplay of something and put my voice over it. Instead, I took the time to use Adobe Illustrator to draw my character and edit the different expressions over the appropriate lines. And it took a while to write the script too. And yes, I have ad-libbed a few of my older videos, but I'm not proud of them. And hopefully I'll be able to redo them with scripts later in the future. And this, what you're watching right now, is just a simple discussion video. Just think of how long it must take to record lines for a dub, then edit them over the comic, then transition to the next panel. Not only that, but Starbot and Vade also add sound effects and do other shenanigans in their videos to make them more interesting. This is extra work that they don't need to do, but they do it anyway. So you complaining about shortness and pressuring them to upload more is not just disrespecting their personal lives, but all of their hard work they put into those videos as well. So please, don't bother them or anyone else about it. This is starting to get me riled up. You see, out of all of the things on this list, in this video, the thing about time, it angers me the most out of all of them. And, well, haven't you heard that it's a bad idea to cheese off a dragon? Back to the idea of misconceptions. Well, maybe. I'm not sure if this is a misconception or not, but considering that it could be confusing, I should probably mention it anyway. The hyper gameplays that Starbot dubs have been doing, they're not canon to the Astron Chara series. You can tell, as there are two inconsistencies in the first hyper gameplay video between them. The first inconsistency is that old tutorial mentioning that she's the mother of Frisk, Azrael, and Chara, when she didn't adopt Frisk in the Astron Chara story. The second is where Azrael referred to Chara as a she rather than a he. So, I guess the hyper gameplays could be in an alternate universe. And yes, while that may sound cliche, this is Undertale we're talking about. What do you expect? Retconning? The last thing that I'd like to mention is that people keep knocking down Chara for what they did. First of all, rude. Secondly, why? Not all Charas are evil, and yet many people seem to think so. And sadly, I used to be one of those people. As a guy who tries not to judge someone on what they are, but rather who they are, I am very, very ashamed of myself. There was proof, and yet I ignored that. There was a common misconception that and Chara is evil, and I can't believe I fell for that misconception. But Sam on Judgment Point's channel proved that even the canon Chara isn't evil. And if you think about it, Astron Chara, all the stuff they did, never happened. They reset, turned back time. It never happened. Plus, Chara and Frisk are probably the only ones who remember. Sans and Azrael might remember too, but Sans has clearly forgiven him, and Azrael would help Chara no matter what. And Chara clearly feels guilty about it. Why else do you think he's drinking? Well, I'm not a forgiving person. I do believe that regret is the first step to redemption. So I believe that Chara can make up for his past. The majority of Charas in the multiverse are evil, yes, but you shouldn't assume any and all Charas are evil. Besides, isn't the idea of Undertale not to judge people based on looks?
I'm not sure about that, Ghost Dragon, but I agree with you. You should never judge a book by its cover. Hey Ghosty, speaking of books, what do books and skeletons have in common?
Oh, I don't know, Ivory Sands. What do books and skeletons have in common?
They both have spines.
Indeed. It's great to have another skeleton around here. Oh, by the way, links to Hawker's YouTube channel, the Astron Chara Tumblr page, Starbot Dubs channel, Ultima Almighty's interviews with Starbot Dubs and Hawker, as well as Judgment Boy's videos on Chara will all be in the description below. And, with all that out of the way, I'd like to thank you all for watching my video. If you liked the video,
hit the like button.
Sans, we went over this. You only get to do the outro when the video features you.
Okay.
Anyway, if you didn't like the video, hit the dislike button. And if you want to see more of my stuff, subscribe. You can unsubscribe whenever you want. And, until I meet again, good night, everybody!
See ya.
What you're going to see next are a few of my favorite mistakes I made while I was recording. Anyway, Hawker is the one who decides what's canon in Astron Chara, so there's no changing that. So just accept the Frisk. Next up on the list is Frisk's and Chara's gender. A lot of people complain. Think of how long it took to record lines for a dub, then edit them over the comic, then transition to the next panel, and all the other things that Vade and Starbot do to their videos to make them a lot more interesting. That's too fast. Back to the idea of misconceptions. I'm not sure if this is I'm an idiot.